I wonder what you felt when you were watching the Prime Minister's broadcast last night. To me, it is obvious that the consequences of the decisions that the government, companies, schools, etc. take have awesome consequences. And we appreciate the dilemma of risking death by being in contact with carriers of the virus, and the awful choice between preserving life and the damage to our economy and the loss of people's jobs, and how on earth people survive financially, both companies and individuals, how we pay rent and all the other things that we need to in order to live. I was reading Numbers 9 this morning, which had guidance about God's leading of his people through the wilderness. This is Numbers 9 and verse 18. At the Lord's command, the Israelites... No, verse 17. Whenever the cloud lifted from above the tent, the Israelites set out. Wherever the cloud settled, the Israelites encamped. At the Lord's command, the Israelites set out, and at his command they encamped. As long as the cloud stayed over the tabernacle, they remained in the camp. When the cloud remained over the tabernacle a long time, the Israelites obeyed the Lord's order and did not set out. Sometimes the cloud was over the tabernacle only a few days. At the Lord's command they would encamp, and then at his command they would set out. Sometimes the cloud stayed only from evening till morning, and when it lifted in the morning they set out. Whether by day or night, whenever the cloud lifted, they set out. If only life were that easy. The guidance of God was that clear, or the guidance to our government from the scientists was that clear. It strikes me that we need to be praying at this time for wisdom. Solomon prayed for wisdom. He came to the throne, he was newly on the throne, and he prayed this. This is 1 Kings chapter 3 verse 7. Now, O Lord my God, you have made your servant king in place of my father David, but I am only a little child and do not know how to carry out my duties. Your servant is here among the people you have chosen, a great people, too numerous to count or number. So give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong. For who is able to govern this great people of yours? So for us, I think our duty at the moment, as much as all the other things that we need to be doing, is to pray. To pray that our government, that employers, that schools, and all the other people who have responsibilities about ordering our life and our work, have wisdom. Pray that God gives wisdom to make good judgment calls that will enable as many as possible to work and be educated and to function and to live, but safely until a vaccine is developed when everyone can be protected from this virus. And as the church, we must pray for God to give wisdom to those who bear the responsibility of leading us on this journey where there is a scarcity of maps. So maybe during these days we need to renew our prayer whenever we think about the dilemmas of the government and others, to pray that God will give wisdom. And finally, a prayer from Daily Prayer. Teach us, O Lord, the way of your statutes, and lead us in the path of your commandments. Keep our nation under your care, and guide us in justice and truth. O Lord, deal graciously with your servants. Teach us discernment and knowledge. Let not the needy be forgotten, nor the hope of the poor be taken away. Guide the meek in judgment, and teach your ways to the gentle. Lord, remember your people, whom you have purchased and redeemed of old. Amen.